Hi there. In this video, we're going to continue looking at the pivot columns transformation inside of Power Query. So to start off with, we're in pivot columns.xlsx. We're in the duplicate rows sheet. And here we've got our data table. So once again, we've got people voting for different kinds of apples to vote how delicious they think those apples are. So OLBC voted for both Pippins and Cameos, and then we've got her scores there. And Tina voted for Pippins and Cameos as well. However, Tina voted twice. Now, if you remember back from the unpivot columns videos that we did a while back, we had a situation where we had two different Tinas, and so we handled it one way. In this particular situation, this isn't two different Tinas. This is the same Tina voting twice. So we want to see how we can handle that here. What is it going to look like? So to start off with, well, let's just see you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and sort these guys. So I'm going to sort this A to Z. That's fine. I'm going to sort this A to Z as well. That's fine. Oop, I guess I can only sort one after the other. A to Z. Okay, there we go. So now you can very clearly see that Tina has voted for these two twice, or has voted for Cameos twice, and has voted for Pippins twice. So what happens when we pivot that? So let's click on the data table. We're going to head over to Power Query, and we're going to get our data from a table. Okay, so again, we're going to think about, all right, what columns do we want here across the top? Well, we want the different types of apples. We want Cameo and Pippin. We want Cameo and Pippin right there. So we're going to click on the column that has the things we want across the top. Click on that. We're going to go to Transform, and we're going to go to Pivot Columns, right? Okay, so we've already selected what goes across the top. Now we want to know what goes into each one of those cells. So we want the score. But since Tina voted for Cameos twice, what numbers goes in there? Is it 1 or is it 7? And for Pippin, is it 2 or is it 3? Well, let's click and find out. So I'm going to click OK. And what we find is we don't get either of those numbers. We get the two of them combined, okay? So we've added both scores together, right? And the reason that happened is if we come over here to the gear, and back here, if we go into advanced options, it says, hey, if you find duplicate values, when you do that pivoting, what do you want to do with both values? Now we can do like the minimum, we could do the maximum, or we could even do what makes most sense here is the average. Maybe that makes the most sense, and I click OK. So now I get Tina's average score. Maybe that makes quite a bit more sense. So that's generally how it handles it, but there's one, I don't know if I'd call it a gotcha, but it's one thing to mention. When you're doing group buys, you can come over here to advanced options, and you can select don't aggregate. And in that situation, it'll actually produce a table of all the values. But if we click OK here, we don't get a table, we get these errors. So the problem is that if you use that don't aggregate, it assumes that there's only one value in the finished thing. So if there's duplicate values, it actually can't handle it, and it'll throw this error instead. Which I guess is okay in that it shows you maybe if somebody voted twice, maybe somebody who voted twice, it shows you that they voted twice, and maybe that is a problem, and you have to go clean up the data some. But I think generally speaking, you probably want to do something like just take the average. So we're going to change that from don't aggregate to average. It would be kind of cool if you could not aggregate it and get those tables to work with them, but you can't, at least not now. So you're kind of stuck with picking an aggregation. All right, that's it. Nice and easy. I do hope that was helpful, and I will see you next video.